Behind these walls is a museum, unlike any other in Iraq, a museum of torture. Scheduled to open next month in Baghdad, the government wants to make sure no one here or in the world ever forgets how Saddam Hussein ruled by fear for over 24 years. On display, torture devices, such as this bar with hooks from which countless people were hung, an iron cage used by Saddam's son Uday, once head of the country's sports program, to punish unsuccessful athletes. This macabre collection of nooses were used to kill many hundreds of opponents of Saddam's regime. Some of them, like this one, still have bloodstains on them. Even the hole Saddam was found in by U.S. forces in 2003 will be replicated. Also on display, some of the possessions he was found with, including this briefcase, and in these boxes, his prized Mozart recordings. The museum's highlights will be the 26 million documents relating to the regime's crimes. All the documents will be put online for scholars to study.
And use the special emotions, which mean the chemical weapons.
The order, given in 1988 by Saddam to massacre thousands of Kurds with chemical weapons. This is the original military map which was used to pinpoint and wipe out over 6,000 Kurdish villages, killing tens of thousands more. And this is Saddam's signature on an order to kill 148 Shia Muslims in the village of Dujail, the crime for which Saddam was sentenced to hang. The Iraqi High Tribunal, who tried and sentenced Saddam and other regime leaders to death, say they hope the museum will remove any doubts about the validity of the sentences. Chief Justice Aril al-Shahim says, "Let me remind you about the museum in Washington, which documents the massacre against the Jews and how the visitors learn about the Jewish tragedy. We want something for the whole world to see what happened here and make sure history does not repeat itself." Katan Katir is someone who will never forget. He played for the Iraqi national team for 6 years and was severely beaten for several days after losing one key match against Kazakhstan. Here, at Baghdad's Olympic Stadium, losing players were brought to be publicly humiliated with ritual head shavings and beatings, with Uday Hussein particularly turning his sadistic obsession onto the national soccer team. The torture and punishment that us athletes had to endure set back our country, he says, and we need to move on from this. Our circumstances were difficult ones, but it was a different time, and we need to move forward as a country. Iraqis need to learn to trust each other again. Museum officials say they hope their exhibits will help the country move forward too, and that this young Iraqi generation will never experience the horrors of torture and genocide except as a lesson of history. Steve Wendy, NBC News, Baghdad.